Jake Morrison stood at the big window of the space station. He watched the Earth below him. The blue planet looked peaceful from up here. But Jake knew that was not true anymore. The aliens had come 6 months ago. Everything changed that day. The Zephyrians came in huge ships. Their ships were black and shiny like metal. They blocked out the sun when they arrived. Jake remembered that day very well. He was working on the space station then. He saw the ships come down from space like angry birds. The aliens were tall and thin. They looked like they were made of crystal. Their skin was clear and hard. They could talk to each other without speaking. They used their minds to talk. This scared humans very much. Jake watched the aliens take control of Earth. They were very fast. In just 1 week, all the big cities were under their control. The aliens did not want to kill all humans. They wanted to use them as workers. The Zephyrians needed humans to dig for special rocks under the ground. Amy Rodriguez was down on Earth. She used to be a soldier. Now she was a slave. The aliens made her work in a big hole in the desert. The hole was very deep. Humans had to go down there every day to dig. The work was hard and dangerous. Amy woke up every morning at 5. The aliens put a small machine in her head. The machine made her feel calm and sleepy. She could not think about fighting back. The machine controlled her thoughts, but sometimes late at night Amy could think clearly for a few minutes. In those minutes she remembered who she used to be. The desert camp was surrounded by tall walls. Guards stood at every gate. The guards were not human. They were robots made by the aliens. The robots had red eyes and metal bodies. They never got tired. They watched the humans all the time. Kevin Walsh used to be a smart doctor. He studied the human brain before the aliens came. Now the aliens made him work for them. They wanted him to make the control machines better. Kevin had to work in a cold room on the moon. He did not like helping the aliens, but if he said no, they would hurt him. Kevin learned many things about the alien machines. He saw that the machines were not perfect. Sometimes they stopped working for a short time. When this happened, humans could think freely again. Kevin wrote down everything he learned. He hid his notes in secret places. On Earth, Lisa Turner was hiding. She used to be a captain in the army. When the aliens came, she ran away to underground tunnels. Many other humans were hiding there too. They had food and water stored up. They also had guns and radios. Lisa talked to other hidden groups around the world. She used old military radios. The aliens did not know about these radios. The hidden humans made plans together. They wanted to fight back someday. But they needed to wait for the right time. The aliens made a big mistake. They started taking human children. They wanted to do experiments on the children. They wanted to mix human and alien DNA. This made the children very sick. Many children died. When the hidden humans heard about this, they became very angry. Lisa got reports from all over the world. Parents were crying, families were broken apart. The aliens were hurting innocent children. Jake heard about the children too. He was still on the space station. The aliens thought he was a good worker. They did not know he was talking to the resistance. Jake used secret codes to send messages to Earth. He told Lisa about what he saw from space. The aliens had many ships around Earth. They also had bases on the moon and on Mars. They brought humans to these places to work. The work was even harder there. Humans could barely breathe in those places. Many humans died from the bad air and hard work. But something strange was happening. Some humans were getting stronger instead of weaker. Amy noticed this first. She saw that some workers could lift heavier rocks than before. Others could work longer without getting tired. A few humans seemed to know what the guards would do before they did it. Kevin saw this too in his lab. The alien machines were changing human brains, but not in the way the aliens wanted. The machines were supposed to make humans weak and obedient. Instead, some humans were becoming more than they were before. The aliens did not notice this yet. They thought all humans were the same. They thought humans were weak and stupid. This was their first big mistake. Humans were not as simple as the aliens believed. Jake watched more alien ships arrive at Earth. They brought supplies and new workers. but they also brought something else. Fear. Jake could see it in how the alien commanders moved. They were getting worried reports from other planets. Other species were starting to fight back too. Lisa planned the first real attack. She chose a small mining camp in the mountains. Only 50 humans worked there. The guards were few. Lisa thought her people could free those humans and steal alien weapons. This would be the beginning of the real war. Amy felt the control machine in her head getting weaker. She did not know why. But she could think more clearly now. She could remember her training as a soldier. She started to make secret plans with other workers. They would be ready when Lisa came to free them. The aliens thought they had won. They thought humans would always be their slaves. But they did not understand humans at all. They did not know that humans become most dangerous when they have nothing left to lose. The children were the final mistake. Now every human wanted revenge. 2 years had passed since the aliens came. Danny Parker worked on Mars now. He used to fix electrical things before the war. Now he fixed alien machines in the Red Planet's coal mines. The work was hard and the air was thin. Many humans died, there every week. Danny noticed something strange about the alien machines. When the sun sent out bright flashes of energy, the machines would stop working for a few seconds. The aliens called these flashes solar storms. During these times, the control devices in human heads would flicker and fail. Danny was smart with electricity. He watched the machines very carefully. He saw patterns that the aliens missed. The control systems used a special frequency to work. When the sun's energy hit this frequency, everything went wrong for a short time. Danny started writing secret messages. He hid them inside his work reports. The aliens could not read these hidden messages. Danny sent information about the machine problems to friends on other planets. Soon, other humans started watching for the same problems. Kevin Walsh got one of these messages on the moon base. Kevin had been studying the control devices for 2 years. He knew more about them than any human alive. When he read Danny's message, everything became clear to him. The control devices could be broken. Kevin just needed to find the right frequency. He started working on this in secret. Late at night, when the alien guards were not watching, Kevin built a small device. This device could make the same energy that broke the controls during solar storms. Kevin needed someone to test his device. This was very dangerous. If the device did not work, the person would die. If it worked wrong, the person might become crazy. Kevin knew he needed a volunteer who was brave and strong. Carlos Martinez was that person. Carlos was a fighter before the aliens came. He had been trying to resist the control device for 2 years. Sometimes he could fight it for a few minutes. Carlos said he would try Kevin's device. He was ready to die if it meant other humans could be free. The test happened in a storage room on the moon base. Kevin and Carlos waited until the guards were far away. Kevin turned on his device. It made a high sound that hurt their ears. Carlos felt pain in his head like fire burning inside his brain. For 10 minutes, Carlos screamed in pain. Kevin almost turned off the device, but Carlos told him to keep going. The control device in Carlos's head was fighting against Kevin's machine. Sparks came out of Carlos's ears. Blood ran down his face. Then suddenly, everything stopped. Carlos opened his eyes. For the first time in 2 years, his thoughts were completely his own. The control device was dead. Carlos was free. Kevin quickly sent a coded message to all the resistance groups. The message was simple. The chains can be broken. Within days, humans all across the galaxy knew that freedom was possible. Lisa Turner got the message on Earth. She had been planning small attacks for months. Now she could plan something much bigger. If humans could break free from the control devices, they could fight back for real. Lisa started gathering volunteers for the first big attack. She chose people who were strong and brave. These people would get their control devices broken first. Then they would help free others. It was dangerous, but it was their only chance. Amy Rodriguez was one of the first volunteers. She had been waiting for this day for 2 years. When Lisa's team came to the desert camp, Amy was ready. The device worked on her too. The pain was terrible, but Amy was tough. When it was over, She could think clearly for the first time since the invasion. Amy looked around the camp with new eyes. She saw how the guards moved. She saw weak points in the walls. She saw places where weapons might be hidden. Her soldier training came back to her like water flowing into a dry river. Jake Morrison was still on the space station. The aliens trusted him now. They thought he was a loyal worker. They did not know that Jake was sending information to the resistance every day. Jake learned about alien ship movements, weapon systems, and military plans. Jake made a terrible discovery. He found out that the aliens were planning to move thousands of human children to their home planet. The children would be used in new experiments. The aliens wanted to create a race of half-human, half-alien slaves. This news made every human fighter even more angry. The aliens had already hurt many children. Now they wanted to steal more. Lisa knew this was the time to act. They could not wait any longer. The first coordinated attack was planned for 17 mining camps at the same time. Each camp had a team of freed humans with Kevin's devices. They would break the control systems and arm the workers. Then they would capture alien weapons and ships. But something unexpected happened during the preparations. Humans who had been freed from the control devices started showing strange new abilities. Carlos found that he could sense what the alien guards were thinking. Amy discovered she could touch alien machines and make them work just by concentrating. Kevin studied these new abilities. He realized that the alien control devices had changed human brains in ways the aliens never intended. Instead of making humans weaker, the devices had made some humans stronger. The aliens had accidentally created the weapons that would defeat them. Danny Parker on Mars had developed the strongest abilities. He could control alien machines with his mind. He could also sense when solar storms were coming hours before they arrived. Danny became the leader of the Mars resistance because of these new powers. The aliens started noticing that something was wrong. Some humans were not responding to commands properly. Work efficiency was dropping in many camps. Strange accidents were happening to alien equipment. But the aliens thought these were just normal problems with slave labor. The alien commanders did not understand that they were seeing the beginning of their defeat. They had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. No species had ever successfully resisted their control. They could not imagine that humans were different from every other race they had conquered. Lisa Turner smiled as she looked at her growing army of free humans. Each person they freed became a weapon against the aliens. Each new ability they discovered made them stronger. The aliens thought they were in control, but the real power was shifting to humanity. The day of the first major attack was chosen. 17 camps across 3 planets would be hit at exactly the same time. Kevin's devices were ready. The volunteers were trained. The weapons were hidden. After 2 years of slavery, humanity was finally ready to fight back. The attack began at exactly midnight Earth time. Lisa Turner led the assault on the main desert camp where Amy Rodriguez had been a slave. 17 camps across 3 planets were hit at the same moment. The aliens had never faced anything like this before. Amy used her new abilities to disable the guard robots. She touched their metal bodies and sent electrical signals through them. The robots fell down like broken toys. Other freed humans ran to the weapon storage areas. They had been planning this attack for weeks. The alien guards were completely surprised. They thought all humans were controlled by the devices in their heads. They never expected their slaves to turn into fighters. The guards tried to call for help, but their communication systems were not working. Danny Parker was causing the communication problems from Mars. He had learned to control alien technology with his mind. From his hiding place in the red caves of Mars, Danny sent confusing signals to all the alien networks. The guards could not talk to each other or call for backup. At Camp 7 in the Nevada desert, Amy led 300 freed humans against 20 alien guards. The humans fought with stolen alien weapons and their bare hands. The aliens were strong, but humans fought with the anger of 2 years of slavery. Amy shot her alien weapon at the camp commander. The blue energy beam hit the tall crystal being in the chest. The alien fell down and did not get up again. Around her, other humans were fighting just as hard. They had been waiting for this moment for so long. Kevin Walsh was freeing more humans on the moon base. His device worked faster now. He could break the control systems in just 5 minutes instead of 10. Every freed human became another fighter. The numbers were growing quickly, but something strange happened during the fighting. Carlos Martinez discovered he could hear alien thoughts even better during combat. The fear and pain in the aliens' minds was very loud to him. He used this to predict what they would do next. Susan Brown was a mechanic before the invasion. During the attack on Mars Camp 3, she found she could touch alien vehicles and make them work for humans. She turned an alien tank around and used it against the guards. The aliens could not understand how their own machines were fighting them. Tony Garcia had been a construction worker. Now he could sense alien emotions like smell in the air. He knew when guards were scared or angry or planning to attack. This made him a perfect scout for the human fighters. The freed humans discovered that their new abilities got stronger during combat. The more they fought, the more powerful they became. Amy found she could disable multiple robots at once just by looking at them. Danny could control entire alien computer systems from hundreds of miles away. Jake Morrison watched the attacks from his position on the space station. The aliens around him were getting emergency messages from all over the galaxy, but they still did not understand what was really happening. They thought it was just a slave revolt that would be easy to stop. Jake learned something important from listening to alien communications. The Zephyrians were a hive mind species. All their thoughts were connected through telepathic networks. This is how they coordinated their armies across the galaxy. But this connection was also their weakness. The human fighters on Earth captured their first major alien base. Lisa Turner stood in the command center that had controlled human slaves for 2 years. Now free humans operated the alien computers. They were learning alien technology very quickly. Amy brought captured alien officers to Lisa. The crystal beings looked scared for the first time. They kept trying to use their telepathic powers to control human minds. But it did not work anymore. The freed humans were immune to alien mental control. Lisa questioned the alien prisoners through Carlos, who could understand their thoughts. She learned about alien military bases, ship movements, and the location of their home planet. This information was sent to all resistance groups immediately. The aliens finally realized they had a serious problem. Reports came in from 17 different locations at once. Hundreds of humans had broken free from control. Alien guards were dead or captured. Human fighters were stealing weapons and ships. High Commander Veltar was the leader of the Zephyrian occupation force. He had conquered 47 different species over his long life. But he had never seen anything like what humans were doing. Other species became weaker when they wore control devices. Humans seemed to become stronger. Veltar ordered reinforcements, sent to all human colonies. He thought superior numbers would solve the problem. But the reinforcements arrived to find empty camps. The humans had stolen alien ships and escaped to hidden bases. Kevin Walsh made another important discovery on the moon. He found alien research files about human brain scans. The aliens had been studying human minds for 2 years. Their files showed that human brains were changing in unexpected ways. The alien scientists thought they were making humans more obedient. Instead, they were accidentally evolving human mental abilities. Each generation of control devices made humans more resistant to alien influence. The aliens had created their own enemies. Danny Parker used his growing powers to hack into the main alien computer network. He planted virus programs that would cause problems for weeks. He also copied all the alien military plans and sent them to Earth resistance groups. The freed humans learned to work together in new ways. Groups of fighters could combine their mental abilities. When 10 humans concentrated together, they could shut down an entire alien base's power systems. When 20 worked together, they could crash alien spaceships from the ground. Maria Santos had been a teacher before the invasion. During the battle for Moonbase Alpha, she discovered she could project human thoughts directly into alien minds. This created what she called psychic static, that confused and scared the aliens terribly. The aliens tried to adapt to human attacks, but they could not keep up. Every day, humans developed new abilities and new tactics. The rigid alien command structure could not respond fast enough to the creative human fighters. Lisa Turner realized that the war had moved beyond simple revenge. Humans were becoming something new and powerful. They were no longer the weak species that the aliens had conquered. The control devices had accidentally triggered human evolution. Jake Morrison sent a secret message to all resistance leaders. He had learned the location of the alien home planet from computer files. The planet was called SciFiPrime, and it was heavily defended. But Jake had also learned something else important. There were thousands of human slaves on SciFiPrime. They had been taken there for special experiments. If the resistance could reach that planet, they could free those humans and strike at the heart of the alien empire. It would be the most dangerous mission yet, but it could end the war. Amy Rodriguez looked at her hands as she controlled alien technology with just her thoughts. 2 years ago, she had been a normal human soldier. Now she was something more. All freed humans were becoming more than they had been before. The aliens had tried to control humanity and make them into obedient slaves. Instead, they had awakened abilities that humans never knew they had. The chains of slavery were broken, and now humanity was ready to take the fight to the alien homeworld. The small rebellions became a real war. Human fighters attacked alien bases across the galaxy. What started as desperate escape attempts turned into organized military campaigns. The aliens found themselves fighting on dozens of worlds at the same time. Maria Santos led a special team of humans who could create psychic static. They learned to work together like a radio jamming system. When 20 of them focused their minds together, they could shut down alien telepathic networks across entire star systems. The effect was devastating for the aliens. Zephyrian commanders suddenly could not talk to their troops. Ship captains lost contact with their fleets. Ground forces became isolated and confused. The aliens had never fought a war without their mind link abilities. Lisa Turner planned the biggest attack yet. She wanted to recapture Earth's main command center in Antarctica. This base controlled all alien operations on Earth. If humans could take it, they would free millions of slaves and capture advanced alien technology. Amy Rodriguez commanded the assault team. She had 50 fighters with various mental abilities. Carlos Martinez could predict enemy movements by reading alien thoughts. Susan Brown could turn alien weapons against their owners. Tony Garcia could sense alien emotions and spot hidden enemies. Tiu. Antarctic base was heavily defended. Ice and snow covered huge alien structures. Energy shields protected the main buildings. Hundreds of robot guards patrolled the area. It looked impossible to attack, but humans had learned to fight in ways aliens could not predict. Danny Parker, still on Mars, used his abilities to hack into the base's computer systems. He turned off the energy shields and opened the main gates from thousands of miles away. Amy's team moved through the snow like ghosts. They used their mental abilities to confuse the robot guards. The machines turned around in circles, unable to find targets. Some robots even started shooting at each other. Inside the main building, alien officers tried to coordinate their defense. But Maria Santos and her psychic team were broadcasting mental static from orbit. The aliens felt like they were thinking through thick fog. Their telepathic coordination fell apart. The battle for Antarctica lasted 6 hours. Human fighters moved through the alien base like they owned it. Every door opened for them. Every weapon turned to help them. The aliens found themselves fighting their own technology. Commander Veltar tried to escape in his personal ship. But Kevin Walsh had developed a new weapon. He called it a silence bomb. When it exploded near alien ships, it severed their telepathic connections permanently. The aliens became mentally isolated like islands in an ocean. Veltar's ship crashed into the ice. He survived, but his mind was cut off from all other Zephyrians. For a species that had shared thoughts for millions of years, this isolation was worse than death. Veltar surrendered rather than face the terrible loneliness. Jake Morrison activated sleeper cells on SciFiPrime. These were human slaves who had secretly been freed from their control devices. They had been pretending to be obedient while planning sabotage missions. The humans on SciFiPrime struck at critical infrastructure. Power plants exploded. Communication towers fell down. Transportation systems stopped working. The alien homeworld's perfect order turned into chaos in just one day. The Zephyrian government panicked. They had never seen their home planet attacked before. Their perfect crystal cities were burning. Their obedient slave workers had become enemy soldiers overnight. Prime Coordinator Zixhar, the supreme leader of all Zephyrians, called an emergency meeting. The crystal being was old and had ruled for 1,000 years. He had conquered more worlds than any leader in galactic history, but he had never faced anything like humanity. The military reports were all bad news. Human attacks were happening everywhere at once. Alien fleets were losing battles against much smaller human forces. The humans seemed to know alien tactics before the aliens used them. Kevin Walsh made his greatest breakthrough on the moon base. He perfected the silence bomb technology. Now human ships could carry weapons that would permanently cut alien telepathic networks. Any alien touched by this weapon became mentally isolated forever. The first major space battle happened near Jupiter. A human fleet of captured alien ships faced 3 times as many Zephyrian vessels. The aliens expected an easy victory. They had superior numbers and firepower, but the humans used new tactics that confused the aliens completely. Danny Parker coordinated the human fleet using his mental abilities. He could control multiple ships at once like they were extensions of his own body. The human ships moved in patterns that seemed random to the aliens. But there was a hidden plan. When the alien fleet bunched together to attack, the humans activated dozens of silence bombs at once. Half the alien fleet suddenly lost their telepathic coordination. Ships crashed into each other. Captains could not communicate with their crews. The organized alien formation became a confused mess of individual vessels. Human fighters boarded the disabled alien ships. Amy Rodriguez led one boarding party personally. The aliens on these ships were helpless without their mental connections. They surrendered quickly rather than fight alone. The victory near Jupiter changed everything. For the first time, humans had defeated a major alien fleet in open space combat. News of the victory spread to human resistance groups across the galaxy. Morale soared as people realized they could actually win this war. More alien fleets tried to attack human positions, but each battle went the same way. The silence bombs destroyed alien coordination. Human fighters with mental abilities outmaneuvered confused enemy forces. Ships that had ruled space for centuries became helpless victims. Lisa Turner established the first free human government on Earth. The planet was mostly liberated now. Millions of former slaves were working to rebuild their world. But they also prepared for the final phase of the war. The plan was simple but dangerous. A combined human fleet would attack SciFiPrime directly. They would free the human slaves, there and destroy the alien government. It would end the war, but the aliens would fight hardest to defend their homeworld. Jake Morrison sent detailed maps of SciFiPrime to the resistance leaders. He showed them where the human slaves were kept, where the government buildings were located, and where the strongest defenses were positioned. The aliens tried one last desperate move. They gathered their remaining fleets from across the galaxy. Thousands of ships came to defend SciFiPrime. It would be the largest space battle in galactic history. But the aliens made a crucial mistake. They assumed humans would fight like other species they had conquered. They prepared for a traditional military campaign with predictable tactics and straightforward objectives. The humans had something different planned. They would not just attack with ships and weapons. They would use their mental abilities on a scale never seen before. Every freed human in the galaxy would focus their minds on one target, the alien homeworld itself. Carlos Martinez practiced with other humans who could read thoughts. They learned to combine their abilities across vast distances. Soon, a network of human minds stretched across the galaxy like invisible threads connecting every free person. The final battle was about to begin, but it would not be fought the way anyone expected. Humans had learned to war with their minds as well as their weapons. The aliens were about to face an enemy unlike anything in their long history of conquest. The galaxy held its breath as both sides prepared for the ultimate confrontation. Either humanity would win its freedom, or the Zephyrian Empire would crush this rebellion like so many others before. But deep down, everyone knew this war was different. The humans had become something new, something the aliens had accidentally created but could no longer control. The final assault on SciFiPrime began with something the aliens had never seen before. Across the galaxy, every freed human focused their mind on the same target. Thousands of people with mental abilities worked together like parts of one giant brain. The psychic wave hit SciFiPrime like an invisible tsunami. Every Zephyrian on the planet suddenly felt human thoughts crashing into their minds. The aliens experienced human emotions for the first time: anger, determination, and the fierce love of freedom. Prime Coordinator Zixhar screamed as human memories flooded his ancient mind. He saw human children crying as they were taken from their parents. He felt the pain of slaves working until they died. He experienced 2 years of suffering that his people had caused. All across the crystal cities of SciFiPrime, aliens collapsed as human thoughts overwhelmed their telepathic networks. The perfect order of their society shattered like glass. For the first time in their long history, the Zephyrians knew what terror felt like. Amy Rodriguez commanded the orbital attack from the captured alien battleship Starcrusher. Human fleets surrounded the planet like a metal net. But this would not be a battle of destruction. Humans came as liberators, not conquerors. The silence bombs fell like rain across SciFiPrime. Each explosion cut more aliens off from their telepathic hive mind. Individual Zephyrians found themselves alone in their own thoughts for the first time ever. Many went insane from the isolation. Danny Parker led the ground assault on the capital city. His mental abilities had grown so strong that he could control entire city blocks of alien technology. Traffic systems obeyed his commands. Building security opened doors for human soldiers. The aliens' own infrastructure turned against them. Jake Morrison finally revealed himself on SciFiPrime. For 2 years, he had pretended to be a loyal slave while gathering intelligence. Now he led thousands of human slaves in a coordinated uprising across the planet. The Zephyrian military tried to resist, but their command structure had collapsed. Officers could not communicate with their troops. Ships crashed because pilots could not coordinate with ground control. The perfectly organized alien society became chaos in hours. Tony Garcia used his emotion-sensing abilities to locate Zephyrian leaders who were hiding in underground bunkers. The aliens were broadcasting terror so strongly that Tony could feel them from miles away. Human strike teams moved to capture these leaders alive. Kevin Walsh had one more surprise for the aliens. He had developed a device that could restore severed telepathic connections. But he would only use it on aliens who surrendered and agreed to face justice for their crimes against humanity. The battle for the government district was swift and decisive. Crystal buildings that had stood for thousands of years fell to human fighters in just hours. The aliens who had ruled the galaxy for millennia found themselves prisoners in their own capital. Prime Coordinator Zixhar was found hiding in the deepest vault of the government complex. The ancient being cowered before Amy Rodriguez and her human soldiers. His telepathic crown, symbol of absolute power, lay broken on the floor. "Please," Zixhar begged through a translation device. "We did not understand. Your species is unlike any we have encountered. Spare us, and we will leave your people alone forever." Amy looked at the being who had ordered the enslavement of humanity. She thought about all the humans who had died in the mines and laboratories. She thought about the children who had been taken for experiments. Her hand moved to her weapon. But then Amy remembered something that made humans different from the aliens. Humans could choose mercy even when they deserved revenge. This choice would define what humanity would become after the war. "You will face trial," Amy told the former ruler. "Every Zephyrian involved in crimes against any species will answer for what they have done, but you will get fair trials, something you never gave your victims." Carlos Martinez helped establish war crimes tribunals across SciFiPrime. His ability to read thoughts made it easy to determine which aliens were guilty of serious crimes. Those who had shown kindness to slaves were separated from those who had been cruel. The trials lasted for months. Humans demanded justice, but they also showed mercy to aliens who had tried to help prisoners. This confused the Zephyrians, who, could not understand why their conquerors were not simply killing them all. Susan Brown led teams that freed human slaves from experimental facilities across HFY. What they found in the laboratories was horrifying. Thousands of humans had been used in genetic experiments. Many had died, but some had survived with strange new abilities. These experimental survivors became the most powerful humans of all. Some could control matter with their thoughts. Others could see through time and space. The aliens had accidentally created beings with abilities beyond anything they had imagined. Maria Santos used her psychic abilities to broadcast messages across the galaxy. She told all enslaved species that the Zephyrian Empire was defeated. Rebellions broke out on hundreds of worlds as aliens found themselves cut off from their telepathic command networks. The Zephyrian Empire collapsed in just 6 months. Worlds that had been enslaved for centuries suddenly found themselves free. The galaxy-spanning government that had seemed eternal crumbled like ancient stone. But humans did not become the new rulers of the galaxy. Lisa Turner announced that Earth's government would help other species build their own free societies. Humans would be protectors of freedom, not new masters. Danny Parker led efforts to destroy the control device technology forever. Every blueprint was erased. Every factory was dismantled. The tools of mental slavery would never be used again by any species. Jake Morrison became Earth's ambassador to the new Galactic Council. Representatives from dozens of free worlds gathered to create laws that would prevent any species from enslaving another again. The Zephyrians who survived the trials were given a choice. They could live in isolated communities under supervision, or they could volunteer to have their telepathic abilities permanently removed and live as individuals among other species. Many chose isolation, unable to face life without their hive, mind connections. But some brave Zephyrians chose to become individuals. These aliens worked with humans to help heal the damage their empire had caused. Kevin Walsh established schools across the galaxy to help former slaves recover from their trauma. Humans shared their knowledge of healing and freedom with species that had forgotten what it meant to be free. The galaxy learned a lesson that would never be forgotten. Humanity looked weak and divided during peacetime, but when threatened, humans became an unstoppable force of nature. They could adapt to any situation and overcome any enemy. Amy Rodriguez returned to Earth as a hero, but she was no longer the same person who had been enslaved in the desert camp. None of the humans were the same. The war had changed them into something new and powerful. The final report on the war was written by Dr. Kevin Walsh. He concluded that the Zephyrians had made a fatal error in trying to control human minds. They had accidentally triggered the next step in human evolution. They tried to make us into obedient slaves, Kevin wrote. Instead, they awakened abilities we never knew we had. They thought they were conquering humanity. In reality, they were creating the force that would free the entire galaxy. The children who had suffered in alien experiments grew up to become teachers and healers. They used their enhanced abilities to help other species recover from centuries of oppression. The aliens' greatest crimes became the source of the galaxy's greatest hope. Years later, when new threats emerged from distant parts of the galaxy, other species knew who to call. Humanity had become the galaxy's protector, not through conquest but through their willingness to fight for freedom wherever it was threatened. The Zephyrians' empire was gone, but their legacy lived on in the humans they had accidentally transformed. The galaxy trembled not in fear of new masters, but in relief that such powerful guardians watched over the freedom of all.